Hey there guys, this is Sam
And Justin.
at the Survival Review. Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
And in honor of this wonderful holiday, we are going to review a movie that you would never expect us to review today.
Just Santa Claus. No. It's Halloween.
Halloween. And so I'm going to let you say the plot of this one due to the fact that it's, what, your third favorite movie of all time, I think.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like how I know that.
The plot starts out in the year 1963. Pretty sure about that. And
Wait, it takes place in the 60s?
the beginning, opening scene. And
Oh, yeah.
and it's this really great point of view shot. And Michael Myers, the famous killer, he's a little kid and he kills his sister. So then after that he gets, put into a mental hospital and everything. Cut to 15 years later, and he breaks out and goes back to his hometown. And before Halloween 2, this is what people would believe, that he just started to stalk some babysitters. But when Halloween 2 came along, there ended up being a little bit more to the story than that. But so most of the movie follows these three teenagers, and with Jamie Lee Curtis, I won't name the other actors. I know them, but I won't say them. And they're just babysitting practically, and Michael Myers is slowly stalking and picking them off. And while that happens, his psychiatrist, Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance.
Sam
Loomis. You know where that's from? Psycho.
Oh yeah, I always forget that
Janet
one.
Leigh's boyfriend's name is Sam Loomis.
Yeah. Cool little throwback there.
Mm-hmm. And Jamie Lee Curtis is Janet Leigh's daughter, so.
Yeah.
So
I did know that.
And and so he's just trying to find him, just track him down. And that's basically the gist of the plot.
Yeah.
The plot is not that complicated.
Yeah, it's a very simple plot, but I mean,
that's not what makes it great.
what makes it great is the suspense.
Mm-hmm.
There's
no gore.
There's no gore in this
The only
movie.
time there's blood, if you see Jamie Lee Curtis, gets her hand cut and there's some blood on her hand.
Yeah,
That's it.
and a lot of people think to themselves, especially my mom this way, I told her, hey, let's watch Halloween. This was like last year, 2 years ago. I said, hey, let's watch Halloween. And she said, no, I hate those movies. They're so gory and disgusting. I'm like, ha, got you there. There's no gore in the first one. And we watched it, and she actually really enjoyed it. So if you're not into gore, this is actually a perfect movie for you. Just because it's not about gore. It's about true fright, true scariness in its suspense.
Yes.
And
the movie is directed by John Carpenter. Great director, one of my favorites.
He has his autograph.
Oh yeah, I met him. And he's directed The Thing, the 80s version, Escape from New York, The Fog, and so on.
Yeah,
and
so on.
He also composes the music for the movie.
Yeah, and the music is fantastic.
Yeah, it's iconic, And just John Carpenter's music always has a great, really 80s feel to it, but still has a great ring to it whenever you're watching one of his movies.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just like, oh, that's 80s music.
Yeah.
Unless it was in a movie If it was in a modern movie, it might feel a lot of place. So like that music is what really helps it. Like even John Carpenter said, one time he showed the movie to an executive at a studio, but it didn't have any music, and the person said this movie's not scary at all. So the music plays a big part in the movie.
Definitely does.
Yeah. So for the performances, for the most part, they're nothing special. I will admit that, but
yeah, the only good performances, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, the only great performances are
Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis and
he's great.
Jamie Lee Curtis
in her first movie.
And you know what? I would even say that whatever his name is, because there were more than one actor who played him, but Michael Myers.
Yeah.
It's not a hard part to play, but
Michael Myers, the portrayal in this one has always been the best. Because I felt like whenever all the people in the sequel, they always played him as stiff.
Yeah.
So he'd be walking like this, and it would really feel slow. But in this one, he just walks normally. Yeah. So there is still, even though the person
in the other sequels, it feels like they're trying to make him look slow.
They're trying,
you can tell they're trying. But in this one, it feels like he's not in a rush.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'll kill him when I kill him, and it'll happen.
Yeah.
So.
Like in this one, you're gonna have somebody running, and he'll be walking, and you won't be like, seriously, Michael, just get a move on it. No, you'll be in suspense. You know what I mean? Because the performance, well, for the most part, he was played by Nick Castle for the most part of the film, and Yeah, the great thing about his performance is that he looks like a normal person.
Yeah.
That's what makes it the scariest. He's not like the biggest problem with Rob Zombie's movie, which, to get through all the problems, that's another video for another time. But like, is that Michael is so big in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, you can walk past the original 1978 Michael, and you just walk past him if it's like on Halloween. But if you walk past the remake Michael, you're gonna be like, it's huge. Because that actor, he was at a convention, and I walked past him. And that actor who plays in the remake is giant. I mean, it's also because I am short, but I still say to most people he's giant. You know, so that's what makes this one so like creepy. So he's just an average guy.
And the thing is, that's what makes these movies so scary. That's what makes the Halloween movies scary and the Psycho movies scary. It's because they are people. They're not a monster hiding in the closet. They're not Frankenstein. They're not a Dracula. They're not in your dreams like Freddy. They're a person that can actually exist and can actually kill you.
What makes it even scarier is the fact that is that he was just a little kid and he just snapped, and that's creepy because you know what I mean. Because he's like this little kid, and like there's in the opening scene after they take off his mask and he's standing there, the parents are just looking at him, just like, what just happened?
And after that point, he never spoke for the 15 years after that.
Well, he still didn't speak.
No, I mean like he never
in between,
spoke
he
after
never
that
spoke
point.
after that. So Michael Myers is always he's my favorite out of all the killers. Just because he's the most creepiest.
I'd actually say Norman Bates is my favorite, but
he's good. But I have to stick with Michael. Norman Bates is another great one, but that's another story. But
another time, another video.
Not in the month of Halloween, but in another video. But Halloween, it uses a lot of the cliches that are cliched now. Like back then, I don't think they were as recognizable. You know what I mean? With like the virgin being the last survivor and everything, and you know the good kid being the smart one that lives. So, like, I feel like to some people who are watching now, they may be a little like, oh, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, but besides that, it's so much, like, better than most slasher movies, you know?
It is. I mean,
it's like
you compare a movie like this to, like, Maniac Cop, this kind of movie will win every time just because it's not just about killing.
Yeah, it's a generally creepy movie.
Yeah.
Like, the atmosphere just... All the great shots of just like Michael standing in the background stalking the person is creepy. Like there's the one where the girl's on the phone and in the background like the screen door he's like popped in and then she walks away and the camera follows her and right as like she turns towards the door the camera will follow her and he'll be like gone. Mm-hmm. And like that's creepy.
Yeah.
And it's just there's one great shot in the film which is probably like one of my favorite shots in this movie. It's right after something happens, and I won't explain. I won't tell you what happens. And
specifics. It's right after something happens.
I was going to tell you what it was, but I didn't want to. And Jamie Lee Curtis is standing by this wall, and there's this like dark like hallway behind her.
Oh,
and slowly, Michael Myers' face kind of just fades in, slowly, and that to me is probably the only. Because I have to admit, I don't remember a whole lot when I first saw this film. But that's probably the moment I remember the most, just being like, whoa, wait a second, just being like, wait a sec, you know? Because that's like one of the best moments in the film. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Do you want to go to 10 out of 10? Do you want to go to out of 10 now?
Out of 10, I have to give this movie a 9.5.
You give it a 9.5?
I give it a 9.5. To me... It's just not one of those movies that I had a very good, like, the greatest experience in the world seeing it the first time. And it's an incredible, incredible movie. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. But I can't be honest with you and give you a 10 out of 10. So I'm going to give it a 9.5.
9.5. Well, I'm not going to surprise you here. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Definitely just... It's a great film.
Yeah, it is. And... I hope I didn't offend anybody by not giving this movie a 10 out of 10. It's just, it's an incredible movie, and it's just something that I didn't have the perfect experience seeing it my first time.
Yeah.
And as you guys might have had that experience with some movies too, if you don't have a great experience the first time.
I didn't have the best experience actually seeing the first movie, Cause I remember I started watching it in my upstairs, and upstairs my mom had to watch TV, so it was on TV. So during commercial break, I came down here, and then I continued watching it. So my first experience of that movie isn't like the best, but I think it's also because, like I've mentioned in our top 5 video, that it's because around like October when I first saw it, and I watched it over and over.
See, me, I saw it in the middle of winter,
Yeah.
and
That's why Halloween H2O doesn't really like do anything for me, because I saw that one in like April.
yeah.
So I kind of watch it. It doesn't feel like Halloween. This one, it's the one that has the perfect October setting.
I mean, it definitely does have the perfect October setting. It's just like,
even though the movie was shot in California.
Yeah. Whenever I think about this movie, I can't. It just comes into my mind like a snowy time of year, just because that's the time of year I saw it. And some of you might have that kind of thing. Maybe I'm just nuts.
One of the things about the movie is all the leaves that were blowing.
Yeah.
Right after they cut, they had to go pick up every single leaf for the next shot.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing about making the movie was trying to find a pumpkin, because it was in California and it was like during the springtime, when it's supposed to be like Illinois in October.
Yeah.
That's another thing that also makes it cool for at least us. It's in Illinois, so like
Yeah,
it feels close by.
It's cool for us too.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's Halloween.
Halloween. There's a lot to talk about this movie, but we're not going to bore you with talking about it for an hour. So we're going to end the video now.
I would have bored you, but
you definitely would.
I would have. So another one like Shining, great movie to watch around Halloween.
Yeah.
Great one to watch actually on Halloween. Great movie to just sit down.
I mean,
Halloween night.
it's Halloween. What other movie do you think of on Halloween? It's friggin' Halloween.
Yes.
So
happy Halloween. Hope you guys had a good Halloween, good year.
Yeah. Eat some candy, carve some pumpkins, and see you guys later.
Yeah.